This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
All right, if we could all please rise for Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Let's have a special moment for them.
You know, I was just going to say that, Mr. Rizzo, and we actually have a proclamation for that, but for those victims of the, well, we can call it a terrorist attack, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as well. So,
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Perry?
Here.
Councilmember Roy?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Here.
Mayor Simonson?
Here. All right, first we have actually 3 proclamations tonight. Mr. Rizzo brought it to our attention. I will read one from the President of the United States, a proclamation. And it reads, "Our nation is heartbroken. We mourn with all whose loved ones were murdered and injured in last night's horrible tragedy in Las Vegas, Nevada. As we grieve, we pray that God may provide comfort and relief to all those suffering. As a mark of respect for the victims of this senseless act of violence perpetrated on October 1st, 2017, by the authority vested in me as President of the United States, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, I hereby order the flag of the United States shall be flown at half-staff at the White House and upon all public buildings and grounds, at all military posts and naval stations, and on all naval vessels of the federal government in the District of Columbia and throughout the United States and its territories and possessions until sunset October 6th, 2017. I also direct that the flag shall be flown at half-staff for the same length of time at all United States embassies, legations, consular offices, and other facilities abroad, including all military facilities and naval vessels and stations. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 2nd day of October in the year of our Lord 2017, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 242nd. So, again, our hearts and prayers go out to those families, loved ones. Our next proclamation is for Fire Prevention Week. I believe we have some firefighters here to accept this. I'll read it first, and then we'll come down and present this. This is Fire Prevention Week is October 8th through the 14th, 2017. Whereas the Township of Lower is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Lower Township, and whereas U.S. fire departments responded to 365,500 home fires in 2015, according to the National Fire Prevention Association, and whereas U.S. home fires resulted in 2,560 civilian deaths in 2015, representing the majority, 78% of all U.S. fire deaths, and whereas newer homes are built with lightweight materials that burn faster than older home constructions, and whereas many of today's products and furnishings produce toxic gases and smoke when burned, making it impossible to see and breathe within moments, and whereas these conditions contribute to a much smaller window of time for people to escape a home fire safely, with people having as little as 1 to 2 minutes to escape from fire, from the smoke alarm sounds, and whereas a home fire escape plan provides the skill set and know-how to quickly and safely escape a home fire situation, and whereas a home fire escape plan includes 2 exits from every room in the home, a path to the outside from each exit, smoke alarms in all required locations, and a meeting place outside where everyone in the home will meet upon exiting. And whereas practicing a home fire escape plan twice a year ensures that everyone in the household knows what to do in a real fire situation. And whereas the 2017 Fire Prevention Week theme, "Every Second Counts, Plan 2 Ways Out," effectively serves to educate the public about the vital importance of developing a home fire escape plan with all members of the household and practicing it twice a year. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Eric Simonson, and the Lower Township Council do hereby proclaim October 8th through the 14th, 2017, as Fire Prevention Week throughout the Township of Lower. We thank our fire personnel for a job well done and urge our residents to head the theme of "Every Second Counts, Plan 2 Ways Out," and to develop a home fire escape plan and practice it twice a year. So at this time, could we have our representatives come up? I'm going to let Councilman Perry present this. How's that?
Thank you, Mayor.
Of course, the officer in the back's now nervous that you're going to call for it.
Yeah, you're on for the next one. So we just want to we appreciate our fire departments, our all of our emergency responders, and our police department. Obviously, this proclamation is for Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day, which is October 10th, 2017. October 10th, 2017 has been declared Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day by the Township of Lower Mayor and Council. Whereas across the nation, traffic crashes caused 35,092 fatalities in 2015 and are the leading cause of death for young people ages 15 to 34. And whereas in New Jersey, 603 individuals lost their lives in traffic crashes in 2016, and whereas pedestrian-related crashes accounted for 27.5% of the state's traffic fatalities, while 19% of all fatal crashes involved a distracted driver. And whereas motorcyclists, bicycle riders, and pedestrians face increased risks on New Jersey's roadways as people opt for alternative modes of transportation. And whereas 66 motorcyclists, 18 bicyclists, and 166 pedestrians were killed in New Jersey in traffic-related crashes in 2016. And whereas safer driving behaviors such as buckling up every ride, obeying posted speed limits, stopping for pedestrians in crosswalks, and using crosswalks when walking, avoiding aggressive driving behaviors, never driving impaired, wearing proper safety gear while riding a motorcycle or bicycle, and focusing solely on driving by avoiding distractions can dramatically reduce the number of traffic-related injuries and deaths. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Eric Simonson, and the Lower Township Council do hereby proclaim October 10th, 2017, Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day, and call upon everyone to put these life-saving behaviors into practice to improve safety on the roadways in our community and throughout the state. So at this time, Officer, would you come up, please? Only you can't leave after you get yours. They are allowed, so. All right, we move down to our consent agenda. Any questions or comments from council on the consent agenda?
No comments.
All right, seeing none, we open it to the public on the consent agenda only. If you have any questions, comments, I don't see any, so.
Approval of minutes from September 18th, 2017, and resolutions number 2017-262 through 2017-265.
Get a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion. I'm sorry.
Two motions.
Hey, roll.
Right. So,
Make the motion.
Councilman Roy will second it.
Yes, I'll second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2017-11, an ordinance amending Chapter 7 entitled Traffic of the General Ordinances of the Township of Lower. This ordinance establishes 3 four-way stop intersections within the township. This is the second reading and public hearing of this ordinance. This ordinance has been posted, published, and made available to the public.
Excuse me. All right, any comments from council?
I have one comment. These intersections were, it's going to be a four-way stop, are heavily traveled, high-speed areas in residential areas. And the additional stop signs that went in a few years ago slowed the traffic down, except for a few other blocks in the area. And with these stop signs in place, it'll slow the traffic down and make people stop. They're using these streets as a throughway from Bay Shore Road to Bay Drive, and has become dangerous. So this is definitely a public safety improvement for the area.
And I know we've had people come to council meetings stating such in past meetings, so it's good to see that getting done. Any other comments from council?
None.
Seeing none, we open it to the public on this resolution. Any questions or comments? Yes, sir, Mr. Rizzo. Oh, and please state your name and
Good evening,
address.
gentlemen and ladies. You probably, I don't know who did this, but it was sure one of the ladies. It wasn't one of the council people. I don't think it was Mr. Ridgway. It certainly wasn't our lawyer. So it had to be one of the two ladies. It's beautiful.
I'm a very
very
cornucopic
nice.
type of person, you know that, right?
With the person that did it, please raise your hand.
We all did it.
You mean the gentleman up there did too?
Yes, they did. It was a team effort.
I don't believe it. Anyway,
Pumpkin's coming.
With you.
just tell us where the stop signs are. Could you do that?
Yeah, you're on Oakdale Avenue at Oakdale and 4th.
Okay.
On Oakdale Avenue, that's additional stop signs there. On Broadway and 2nd, and at Broadway and I believe it's Weaver.
Okay. They're needed, I know that. There's racing all over the villas.
Yep.
So we need more police patrolling the back roads. My daughter lives on Wild Avenue. There's people drive there 40, 50 miles an hour. You know, it's crazy.
It is.
So we need more police off Bay Shore Road and back into the hinterlands. I'm telling you, before someone gets hurt, then you'll catch some of the druggies. I see them walking up and down the villa streets all the time. Really.
Thanks for your input, Mr. Rizzo. Anyone else on this resolution? Seeing none, do I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2017-11.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes.
Resolution number 2017-265. This is a resolution authorizing a payment of voucher in the amount of $5,000. This is the final expense payment for Lower Township Rescue.
Comments? Questions from council?
No comment.
Nothing. Public, any comments or questions regarding this resolution? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Recuse.
Councilmember Perry,
Yes.
Councilmember Roy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel,
Yes.
Mayor Simonson.
Yes. Move down to administrative reports. Mr. Ridgway, you want to go last or
No, I'll go
first?
now.
All right.
I have several items for council tonight. The first one being that we have started the process of a FEMA mitigation grant, which should help our strategies immensely involving Coxhole Creek and down towards the bayfront in the villas, looking for the flood insurance relief. And we're working with EDA Engineering on such, since they're so deeply involved with our coastal resiliency grant, which is also moving ahead in a good fashion. Secondly, gentlemen, we're having a health fair November 1st, which is now inside of a month. And for the first time ever, we'll also be inviting the families of our employees. Julie and Karen have worked very hard on this. We expect our biggest turnout of vendors ever, and that'll be the morning of the 1st. We'd like you all to attend if possible. Bring your spouses in the rec center from 9 to 11 on November 1st. Roseanne Avenue. We're waiting on the test results of the water test on Roseanne, and provided they're good, we'll be going out to bid on that project hopefully next week. The house at the end of Roseanne Avenue that we own was demoed today. It was taken down for the future expanse there for our pump station. Last week, I attended the presentation with the mayor at the Villas Fire Hall, which was put on by a DEA officer. Not in plain sight was the topic. It was a phenomenal presentation which opened up everyone's eyes who was there about the opioid crisis, obviously. And I want to thank Cape Assist, Steve Selby, for putting this together for our residents in the township. Our AFSCME contracts for secretaries as well as rec aides have all been settled, and those folks have all been paid their retro checks. The Aquatic Center Land Associates Engineering Group is close to finalizing, and their final meeting will take place when they'll do a presentation to council, which will probably be in 4 weeks. Our rec department has a lot going on this time of year. I received some data today. There are over 500 of our youth involved in soccer, football, and cheerleading. And Mitch Plan and Bruce Fernier are doing a great job with these numbers. Our High Fitness Academy, which takes place, seems 4 mornings a week out of here, is very well attended. We're impressed with that, as well as Zumba has started, yoga is ongoing, and judo just started last week. Our annual costume parade and contest will be held October 21st at Cold Spring Village, and our rec department, along with the Healthy Youth Coalition in the township, will be presenting the Spooktacular Trunk or Treat, which they did last year behind here in the parking lot, and it was the first year it was very successful. This year it'll be Sunday, October 29th, behind here in the parking lots. And as recent as this morning, I presented a South Jersey Transportation Authority report to the owners of the Lobster House and Lucky Bones concerning the intersection at 109 and Skellinger, and went over many of the recommendations with that report with Mr. Laudeman and Mr. Craig, and the recommendations were very well received. We're going to be looking at possible remedies there with an addition of a left lane going into the Lobster House, some adjustments to width lengths, and these things should help separation of pedestrians as well as cyclists in the area. And other than that, that's it.
All right, I think you covered everything I had, so go ahead, take it away, Mr. Conrad.
All right. I've been waiting to talk about this, and I'm going to wait a little bit longer for certain aspects of it. Most of the people have heard that we've been working with FEMA and a couple other organizations to try to help with the flood insurance. The Coastal Resiliency Grant that Mr. Ridgway brought up is one aspect of one of the things we're trying to get some relief to the people that were put in E zones and E zones, which we shouldn't have been put in, but we're trying to do what we can for our residents. The other thing we've been working on, and I want to give special thanks to Jen Dowd, Gary Playford, and Joe Maffei, who is with EDI, the engineer. It looks like Lower Township is going to be accepted into the CRS program, which is the community rating system. It's been a long process. If we're accepted, that means every resident of Lower Township will see a discount on their homeowner's flood insurance. The township really doesn't get anything out of this. This is for the residents. We're trying to help them where we can. We need some good news and something to be done in this township. We're working on it. On the flip side of that, we also have the food banks in this area. The shelves are getting a little empty. We're getting to that time of year. Every single one of them could need some help. There's a barrel out here at Town Hall that you can drop stuff off and someone will come pick it up. We're getting near Thanksgiving, but then some of the jobs are running out, but the shelves have gotten bare. And also, concerning Hurricane Maria, there's a place in the Villas, which the media could please go down and talk to them. They're collecting for Hurricane Maria for Puerto Rico. I'm sure they could use some help also. They're devastated down there. If they could get their transportation issues situated, they're going to need stuff for a while. And it's not just the food and stuff. They're going to need clothing or whatever else they could get. Other than that, have a good night.
Just a few things I'd like to mention, and they sort of go parallel with the proclamation of Fire Prevention Week. We're into the fall season now. It's getting cool at nights. Just a reminder to homeowners, residents, to make sure that they have their heating system serviced on an annual basis. You're going to start to fire those heaters up. It is one of the major causes for residential fires, so make sure that your heating system is up and running and proper working order before you really need to use it. Another thing is to make sure that you check for the batteries in your smoke alarms, or if you have electric smoke alarms, test them periodically. And also, very important, the silent killer carbon monoxide. If you don't have a carbon monoxide alarm in your home and you do have a fossil fuel of any type, it is extremely important to have a carbon monoxide alarm and make sure that it's in proper working order. That's it.
Councilman Rowley?
Yes, I have received information that recently the county has experienced its first case of West Nile virus. It's under control. They are very aware of the situation. There was an article in the paper as well that the West Nile virus is active throughout Middle and Lower Townships. We ask that you are cognizant of any standing water that you may have around your yard or perhaps in a neighbor's yard that you have access to at least tip it over, to drain it, to eliminate the full cycle of the larva to progress into full-grown mosquitoes. This week we have some warm weather coming, so it'd be very advantageous to at least take notice around your properties to help eradicate this from getting any further. Also, just on the note of the proclamation for Fire Prevention Week, I'd just like to give kudos to the men and women of the fire service throughout the township. We have 3 firehouses in this township, and they're all volunteer. And you can't imagine the amount of effort, time, and dedication that these people put into this service, which keeps us safe and secure within our homes. So again, kudos to the firemen and all those who serve the fire service as well. Thank you.
Okay, I just get one thing to talk about. Recently, there was a report in a newspaper from the FBI, and they talked about the 50 most violent towns in New Jersey. And I went through the list of all the different towns listed on the report, and there's actually 8 of them in South Jersey on the report, and there's actually a few in Cape May County. But I'm happy to report Lower Township is not on this list, so that's a good thing. So I think it's a testament from a lot of organizations that the work to keep these numbers down. Cape Assist, helping with the youth. Cape Alliance, Recreation Department, like Ms. Ridgway mentioned, there's 500 children involved with the sports right now in the programs at the rec center. The various after-school programs that the mayor's very involved with at the Title Main and high school now, and the police department. It's a testament to all their hard work out there. So it just kind of reinforces the fact that, you know, all these things we're doing for the youth, with the council and the police department and all the different organizations will just make this a better place to live going forward.
It's great. Thank you. I think Mr. Ridgway covered most of it. There is, along with the trunk or treat, there is the now township-wide, the famous haunted high school is the 27th of October. It's always a great turnout there. All the candy's donated. I know the high school kids spend a lot of time decorating the hallways and the classrooms. Kids love it. If you can get out just to check it out, steal some candy, feel free to stop by on the 27th. Another thing is I would like to send a special thanks out to the Villas Fire Company because they were able to give a location for this, the Hidden in Plain Sight that Mr. Ridgway spoke about it, the great program teaching parents and adults how to find just awareness on how to find drugs or if a young one has a problem, where they hide them and what kind of things to look for just to be proactive. And the Villas Fire Department was gracious enough to lend their upstairs so that we could have that assembly and bring that assembly into our town. So we're appreciative of that. And other than that, I think we will, yes.
Anything to report on the Municipal Alliance meeting that you attended?
Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that for the next meeting. And our next meeting is the 23rd, by the way. And at this point, we're going to open it up to the public. If you have any.
Eric,
Lions meeting.
oh, you mean, okay.
What?
When you said next meeting, that was the
Lions.
Alliance meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Township's the 16th.
Township's the 16th, right?
Oh, whoa.
I got confused. Yeah, after Columbus Day. The 16th is our next meeting. We open it up to the public. If you have any questions or comments, please come up to the microphone. Just state your name and where you're from.
My name is Chris Marlowe. I live on Seagrove Avenue. I want to share a piece of information with you that I've learned while I've been campaigning to join your number. I go to a lot of houses. It's my observation that about 30% of the houses that I go to do not have a street number. I want to encourage you to have the code enforcement people check that, because we've been talking a lot about firefighters and emergency responders. It's really hell to take care of a house when you don't know where it is. So please have code enforcement look at that.
Appreciate that. That's something we've been working on for a long time. Unfortunately, you can't force people to do it, but we do obviously recommend it, and we try to get that word out whenever we can. So,
I'm sorry to get up so fast. In that case, I recommend that we create an ordinance that requires it. It was legally required in towns that I've lived in before.
Mr. Ridgway, in regards to that, for an ordinance to make sure that it is parallel with the New Jersey Uniform Fire Code, there is a section in the code that addresses to address numbers on properties.
I believe we do have an ordinance already in place for that. I talked to Bill Sturm years ago. We tried to get some community organizations to donate the numbers, because one of the things that brought up by Mr. Sturm himself was the fact that how do you force or how do you find somebody that's having problems surviving to buy numbers? They're supposed to be 3 to 4 inches on the house, and they have to be visible, highly visible from the street. I live the life. I go through this. Some places, that's not going to be an issue. But certain parts of Ward 1, getting people to put signs up. I've seen black tape on rusty mailboxes. They have other priorities. And if you're going to give them like a $300-400 fine, this Mr. Sturm says it doesn't make sense because they can't afford the $10 to put the numbers on. How are they going to afford a fine of that nature? We can suggest it. That's where I started years ago trying to get community organizations to do it. Went all over the place. Someone supposedly bought the numbers, but we just couldn't find people. You can't just put them on the people's house. You have to get their permission. I agree 100% for you, because when you're riding up down the street looking for that house number, and it's even worse sometimes in parts of the villas where the numbers start over because the developers decided you can pick any number you want. Go to West Hudson, 2, 6, 10, and you get all the way up to 30, and it starts over with 4, 8, and it's like, what? There's a lot of different little issues that sometimes we have to get the post office permission to fix also for the numbering and get some of the street names more corresponding. You go along the bay in the villas, there's like 10 different street names. Why? It's the same street. But no, I understand what you're saying about the numbers. I agree with you 100%. But when you get a couple in their 80s that are struggling to survive, just to try to be independent, and asking them to put out an extra $12, $15, sometimes it's not the priority for them. But as I said, I'm in EMS. I understand fully looking for that number at night. And some of them don't even turn their lights on for you.
Thank you. Thanks for the input. And anyone else, questions or comments?
Yeah, George Doherty, Seashore Road. I just have a question about the airport. They used to have the hayride there. I haven't noticed if they've done it in the last couple of years, or has that been, and now with everything going on there, I guess it would kind of be tough.
Well, what happened was it's a good question. Yeah, with everything going on, and I know they had taken down a lot of the trees and such where the trails were. They've replaced that with the trunk or treat, which our police department is involved in, and Cape Assist. They run that out here at the rec center.
Right out back.
Yeah,
So the hayride out the airport.
They
was on,
replaced-
did it with that. Okay.
yeah,
I
they
just wasn't sure.
replaced
I didn't hear about
one
it.
with the other, but
All right.
thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Yep. Anyone else? Seeing none. Yes, Mr. Rizzo.
Robert Rizzo, Mickles Run. I remember when I was a kid and lived in Philadelphia, we had people that would come up and down the street, paint the numbers on the sidewalk, then they'd come and ask you for a donation. I mean, you could give one or you didn't have to. They were in business just to make a buck. Maybe we could do something like that with the mailboxes. Put the numbers on there and have somebody ask for a donation from the people, because that's important. We have people who call.
I'm agreeing 100% with it.
You know,
Except we don't have curbs. That's the problem, is touching the mailbox without
We don't
permission
have
to
what?
start with. We don't have curbs in most of the township.
well, we could put them right on the mailboxes
I was trying to get a sign. I went
and
through
then ask the
different
people to give a donation.
We actually came up
They
with...
either do or they don't, you know. I'm telling you, if you had somebody go around, maybe the Boy Scouts or somebody like that, try it on a street or two. And if it
Yeah.
works, it works. If it don't, it don't.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I tried to go through the organizations to do
Well, let's
something
try
like that.
it again.
Well, I
Because
know-
it's dangerous when
I know.
people, you guys, you know especially, you go out on a call, you can't find a damn house. We need something better than this.
I wish
Thank
we could
you.
come up with something. Yep.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we close the public portion.
Resolution number 2017-267, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss acquisition of land, negotiations, attorney-client privileged information, and a personnel issue.
Get a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes.